All right, so as I'm live, using a brand new camera for the first time, and what I'm going to do is possibly get a few other stands for it. But this is trial. I did a trial run last night, but what I was wanting was a camera that was maybe a bit cleaner, autofocuses, and keeps the picture sharp. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm finishing up this Belmont. If you are one of the few that watches this channel, well, I did the overhaul on it last night. Today I'm going to add an audio input feature so that you can run your Bluetooth through it if you want, or whatever else you want to run through it. I've got so much crap on my soldering thing here. These tips are starting to get expensive. So what this is, this little blue thing that I'm holding in my hand, it is a transformer. It's a 12 volt to 120 volt to 6 volt transformer, and it's a primary and a secondary side like all transformers do. And on the secondary side, we're going to run right and left channels together for audio coming in, and then the primary side is what goes the volume control, which is this guy here. That'll make sense in a minute, but before I do that, I have to add a few things to this. Those two resistors that are up here, those are right and left channels, and obviously this is not a stereo, and so you want to run your right and left channels together so you get mono. If you just run one channel in, you won't get all the audio capability that might have been in mono. And what I'm adding on the other side here is going to be kind of like a separate miniature isolation transformer, and it's just going to be for the radio itself. It puts out a this set has an automatic gain control function, and if you don't put this little 2.2 rated 0.02 rated microfarad cap and resistor, that's essentially half the value of the volume pot. Well, that'll prevent your AGC from being interrupted with this transformer. I just kind of manufacture all the stuff that I want to put on it first. This makes it easier. And what I've done is I've made a little grommet, pull-in grommet for this incoming audio cable, and it is going to connect to the secondary side of the transformer. So here's my right and left channels. I've got some 33 ohm resistors. The value of the resistors for your right and left channels is not hypercritical. You can put 20, 30, 40, 50 ohm resistors and it'll be fine. No problem whatsoever. Screwed up. I put them in the wrong place. I want them directly across from this, as aforementioned, secondary isolation transformer. Ground needs to go on the other side. Okay, that concludes the secondary audio input side, and now what I need is a small wire that's going to run to the volume control up here. Wire, who's got the wire? I do, it's up here. I tell you, this camera is handy, and it is. I can't show a picture of it because I'm using it, but it's tiny. It's like the size of a matchbox, and it's a lot easier to handle. And the fact that it autofocuses is kind of amazing, even though I know they've had cameras like that for decades. My wife's singing car. Make sure nothing's touching. What's this guy doing with the blue tape? All right. Glue gun is on for a while. It's pretty hot, so it's time to expedite that process. I know this is super annoying, sorry. Alright, I'll let that sit and cool for just a little bit longer. I need to add my switch wire up here so I can turn. Well, the computer says it's about to run out of battery power. Let me plug it back in. It's plugged in. I was down to 2% battery power. That would have been bad. Okay, where'd my switch wire go? Here it is. I'm pretty sure that has to be the top of the volume control. Now, let me see about moving the camera because I can't, so bear with me as I unloosen it. We'll try something here. See if I can. Oh, it's going to make people seasick. Okay, see if I can move the. All right, quit moving, camera. All right, so here is the volume control. Here's my incoming audio cable. I have a little knot tied here so that this is not going to, come jerking out of here if someone yanks on it. And there's a little rubber grommet there. That's important because you don't want this kind of action to happen and that to get cut. The switch wire is going to happen here because it's the only wire going on that side, and the other side is very easy to trace out. That's the black wire. That's the other side of the volume control. That is what we call the bottom, the volume control, or the negative. So, I'm going to mount this maybe around here. Oh, you can go here. No, I think it'd be better there. Let me peel this tape off. You're probably wondering why I did that. I did that so that if this ever breaks free in here, there's nothing exposed. It's just plastic. Let's see, let me grab sandpaper. Oops, sorry. Get the damn camera. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some camera stands because this is dangling nonsense. Does not work. Okay, let's see. The ground could easily go. Let's go to the other side of the volume control. Put my lid back on my super glue. Jet's expensive now. Find a way to get my dumb hands out of the picture too. Sorry guys, obviously hanging it off of the lamp is a stupid plan. Problem with me being a big cheap ass about everything. Switch wire has exited. We have our audio input system installed. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Crap out of the way. Check my phone for the volume. It's up pretty high.
In this river city, nothing ever lasts. Besides the lonesome blues, steady staring back at you. In this river city, of one thing you can be sure. No matter what you got to give. Believe me, you gon' give some more. Trinity River, such a dirty little river.
Well, I can see that there's a rip up here in the speaker. I didn't see that yesterday. It's not a big deal because I have more of the same material to fix it.
Muddy walk fast enough. Trinity River could never come in fast enough. Trinity River, and it flows.
All right, that seems to be working pretty good on audio input feature. Now what I need to do is make sure that I can add an audio switch back here. So like not an audio switch, but a switch for radio reception. Put the camera back out on the camera mount so it's not so weird. I can see why people buy several of these cameras so that they don't have weird positioning problems like I'm having. There we go.
Most mainstream Protestant churches, I'm not Catholic, so I'm not going to argue with you on Catholicism on this one. I will, however, argue with you on Bible-believing and preaching churches. They're not saying that God's non-binary. That's not true. The Bible, by the way, let me be very clear, does not describe God as non-binary. In the modern sense of
CP President Gary Bledsoe, who is a
Come on, quit being a pain in the butt. All right. Ground. Clean.
based on analysis by Ookla Street. Okay.
to move until the final whistle. I'm Nicole Deal, along with Mike Moore, on your home for Black News for
When you don't file, which can be way more than you really owe. Sometimes it makes the payment disappear. We check the tax bill. If it's wrong, we get it corrected. If it's right, we want to make it for you. All kinds of great deals exist. Just pay part and they forgive the...
Okay.
Get the penalty. Leave you alone until you're able to make a deal, or move the payment away from you.
Yeah. Move the payment away from you, whatever. You know, I was going to try to reassemble this whole thing in this episode, but I just realized it's already 30 minutes in, and the problem is, not really a problem, is that I want to restore this back. It's in pretty good shape, but what I want to do is kind of add some epoxy and stuff to stiffen this up a little bit more. And I also want to reattach this antenna. This is going to take some time. And I want to clean this up and also clean this plastic up. But let me bring the case over so you can see how that's going, because I think the case initially wasn't so great, but then it turned out kind of okay in the end. So this is the case, and I tend to put my paint on very thick, because when you get the rattle cans from the store, if you don't put it on thick, you'll get a lot of orange peel, which is kind of like this dimpling sort of appearance. And so I will use the entire can on one of these sets, whole can. And that's how you get kind of this deep, really glossy, almost plastic-like finish. And on top of that, I took some time to make sure and do all the knobs and the buttons too. So these were, again, given like probably 2 to 3 coats of enamel. And also the key is to really need to clean everything up before you do so, because the paint, it needs to stick and adhere, especially if it's going to be something people are going to handle. And you just put it on. You need to put it on enough so that's good, solid coverage, and you've got a good thick epoxy put on it. Now, I don't always repaint radios, and I try not to if it can be helped. The other opposite end of the spectrum is a radio like this. This is a Crossley dashboard, generically is what we call them. And more specifically, it's a model, I should say it on there somewhere, shouldn't it? 10-138 in oxblood. And that's the original finish. That's the original paint. And for that to have survived for over 70 years is remarkable. So I will clean this up. That's what I've been doing. I use just a buffing pad and some natural waxes, Carnauba wax, and you can really bring back the shine. But on the other hand, here's exactly the same model, and someone's already come in here and they tried to repaint it and they did a crappy job. And it has a chunk missing out of it. It's all white. I'm not sure if these cracks are showing up. They had to be re-glued. It's got a crack here. It's been re-glued. This will get repainted because once it's cracked, unless it's Catalan, the value is essentially nil to collectors. So these are pretty common radios, so it's not like they have tremendous value to begin with. They made a lot of these. And so I will repaint this sometime this week, and it'll get that same sort of high gloss treatment. But then on the other hand, when it comes to plastic radios, one of the most common materials you'll see out there is Bakelite. And Bakelite is a wonderful plastic. It's very stable. It's very heat resistant. And if I get a set in and it has a Bakelite finish that is even if it's dirty, you can bring back the finishes. Just don't use any harsh chemicals or harsh cleaners. In fact, I often don't use any soap and water on the Bakelite sets. I'll just go right for a cleaner wax. And this is how you get that sort of natural burled appearance that Bakelite came from. And it's amazing how much of the Bakelite finish you can pull back, even if it's kind of dry. But once you remove this top layer, which is pretty delicate, it's ruined all the way through. Because if you look on the edge profile here, it's kind of a chalky plastic once you get into it. And then lastly, you might run into a radio like this, which even though it's kind of an ugly color, it's polystyrene plastic. And you can polish polystyrene with Novus number 2 or some other plastic polish and you'll be fine. But so, whole gamut. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this episode. I know it wasn't a very long one, and I meant to finish the electronic restoration yesterday. I'm not going to lie, I'm having some really tough time right now because my dad is not doing well and it's very stressful, and so I come out here to do this to unwind and to think about things and get my mind off of things. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I'm going to try to get some little stands for the camera. I also got this, which I forgot I had. It's actually it's an Audio Technica microphone. Had it for a number of years, and I just need to get an adapter for it. Probably make it easier for you to hear me. I could put it up here. As my wife likes to say, I sure like to mumble. All new things to come. And I just need to get off my ass and do it. And I'm just so used to doing everything exactly the same way. So change is hard. It took me forever to finally admit that the camera I had before was a piece of shit. In fact, if you want to see what the old camera looked like, this is it. It's a generic no-name security camera. And the problem I was having with it is that all of this is manual. So I was constantly having to, over my shoulder, like reach up and like adjust this by feel. And it's heavy and clunky and it was hard to get around the work. And the new camera is like smaller than this, so a lot easier to deal with. But I'm going to get some contraptions together and see if I can jerry rig something up, because what I'd like to do is have some sort of gimbaling arm or something that can just move around real easily, like fluidly, so I can get in at the work, like put you down in there where I'm working versus being awkward how it's been. We'll figure it out that later. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you all when I see you. And have a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it happens to be where you happen to be. Take care, everybody.